13 Lessons from Jesus on Loving Those Who Disagree with You. 2,000 years ago, Jesus navigated a world filled with political tension, religious disputes, and societal upheaval. He encountered people from all walks of life, each with their own beliefs and backgrounds. Yet, in the middle of it all, he showed profound compassion and unwavering truth, setting a powerful example for engaging with those who held opposing views. Jesus showed people a way to handle disagreements that balanced both grace and conviction, which remain highly relevant even today. Welcome to my channel, God's Care Jesus. Let's start this amazing video, so keep watching. Thanks. In this era of deepening social divisions and increasingly hostile discourse, Jesus' example of compassionate engagement serves as a blueprint for us. Here are 13 insights from Jesus on loving those who see things differently, offering timeless wisdom on navigating disagreements with grace. Show respect to everyone, even those with different views. During his time on earth, Jesus showed that true love often begins with respect, even when opinions differ. His ministry consistently reflected this approach, especially in moments with those who disagreed with or misunderstood him. One powerful example is his encounter with the Samaritan woman at the well. Despite the deep-rooted divisions between Jews and Samaritans, Jesus spoke with her openly and respectfully, leading to a conversation that transformed not only her life, but her community. This encounter teaches that genuine respect goes beyond social, cultural, and ideological boundaries. Encourage dialogue before dismissing the views of others. The Pharisees and Sadducees often confronted Jesus with challenging questions, but instead of immediately dismissing those who opposed him, he engaged with them thoughtfully by asking questions of his own. This created space for meaningful dialogue, eventually prompting his challengers to reflect on their own beliefs and assumptions. This approach shows the power of respectful dialogue in encouraging understanding and insight. We can follow this by inviting dialogue with those we disagree with. When we encourage discussion, we gain insights into why others hold their views, making it easier to empathize and communicate meaningfully. Encouraging dialogue instead of shutting it down allows for a more honest, compassionate exchange, making a true connection possible. Accept that you might not always be right. Jesus' goal was never to win arguments. Instead, he focused on truth and connection. Despite holding the ultimate authority, he was open to genuine questions and challenges from his followers. This humility showed a willingness to listen. Reminder not to cling so tightly to our own views that we miss out on fresh insights. We see this especially in his interactions with his disciples when they struggled to understand his mission. Rather than expressing frustration, he remained patient and supportive, recognizing that even his closest followers needed time to grasp the full truth. This teaches us the importance of holding our convictions with humility and remaining open to growth and learning. Find common ground. The best way to connect with people is by finding common ground, where both parties can share their experiences, values, and perspectives. This is how Jesus would usually start his teachings. He related to people in their everyday lives, drawing on familiar themes from agriculture, fishing, and daily experiences to convey profound truths. By meeting people where they were, he made his messages more relatable and highlighted the significance of discovering connections, even in the face of differences. We, too, can benefit from this principle. In our own interactions, searching for common ground helps redirect our focus from division to unity. Identifying shared values or experiences can bridge gaps and create a foundation for dialogue. Focusing on what unites rather than what divides allows for deeper conversations and helps foster mutual respect even amidst disagreements. Be patient. Throughout his short earthly life, Jesus always extended his patience, whether to his disciples, who sometimes had doubts, or the Pharisees who often opposed him. His patience created a space for others to grow and understand. It reflects a love that waits for others to catch up rather than pushing them to meet his standards immediately. In our lives, patience plays a big role in how we deal with disagreements or opposition. It helps us respond calmly, recognizing that change often requires time and grace. Emulating Jesus' patience allows us to love others without rushing their journey, fostering a gentler, more supportive way of relating. Pray for those who oppose you. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Matthew 5 verse 44. One of Jesus' most powerful teachings was to pray for your enemies, a concept he embodied even in his final moments on the cross. When he prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 23 verse 34. When we pray for those who oppose us, it allows us to see them through God's eyes rather than through the lens of our disagreements. Prayer is a way to nurture love and compassion and keep bitterness from settling in our hearts. Bear with one another's weaknesses and shortcomings. Jesus' ministry demonstrated deep patience with human flaws, whether it was his disciples' lack of understanding or the people's wavering faith. Instead of responding with frustration, he gently guided them forward. Bearing with each other's shortcomings means recognizing that we're all imperfect and in need of grace. Bearing with other people's weaknesses fosters a more compassionate perspective that allows us to love beyond imperfections. It's easy to get frustrated when others don't see things our way. But Jesus' example shows us that patience is part of compassion. When we bear with each other's flaws, we make space for growth and healing in our relationships. Learn to forgive. In his teachings, Jesus consistently emphasized the importance of forgiveness. Forgiving others, even when it's undeserved, helps us break free from feelings of resentment and bitterness. It is the first step toward mending relationships and achieving inner peace. It allows us to move forward and opens the door to reconciliation and understanding. Be humble. Another lesson that we can learn from Jesus on loving those who disagree with us is to remain humble. In disagreements, humility enables us to listen without feeling threatened, creating a spirit of openness and mutual respect. This attitude reminds us that every person has inherent worth. Jesus' humility shows us that love grows in humility, nurturing connections even in the face of opposition. Embrace disagreement as a part of life and faith journeys. Disagreement doesn't need to disrupt harmony. Instead, it can be a space for learning and growth as long as it's approached with respect. Seeing disagreement as a natural part of life frees us from the need to agree constantly. Embracing this truth helps us stay open to others' ideas so we can grow together in understanding. Acknowledge different perspectives. Jesus engaged with people from diverse backgrounds, Gentiles, Samaritans, Romans, and others, showing his willingness to acknowledge different perspectives. He saw them as individuals, not just representatives of a particular stance. Jesus' example shows that acknowledging another's viewpoint, even if we don't agree, creates a foundation of respect. This approach turns